With Caitlin Clark out for the All-Star game, all eyes turned to the other players. This was their moment to prove they could perform without her and justify the hype. They delivered on the court, but the fans made an even louder statement. And the network? They don't want you to see it. Ratings are out, and once again, the story isn't what ESPN says it is.
It's fine to just post the ratings. But it is another situation than pretending like Caitlin Clark doesn't exist.
Clark's fans noticed immediately, this isn't the first time her impact has been downplayed. But this time, it backfired. Here's the breakdown. Hit like if you are tired of biased media, and subscribe for Caitlin Clark and WNBA updates. ESPN's pattern? They cherry-pick numbers, showing only what fits their narrative. Look at the 2025 draft. They bragged about ratings up 119%, but skipped 2024, Clark's draft year with 2.45 million viewers. Honest comparison? Viewership actually fell 49%.
Noticed or heard about it, but during the game, Caitlin got honored as the WNBA Player of the Year in the ESPYs. Just what does it mean to have her impact so far? I mean, there are a lot of really good players in this league, and she got honored as the best player in the league by the ESPYs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she continues to get new awards. She continues to break barriers. She continues to do things that we haven't seen before. I mean, obviously you think about the Stewie's MVPs of the league and, championship winners, and Asia's MVPs of the league and championship winners. And of course, Sue Bird, who was sitting, in the building today. And, Caitlin is so fortunate, as well as all these guys, really. I mean, that they don't know anything any different than the WNBA.
Doesn't end there. During March Madness 2025, ESPN repeated the same trick. Early round ratings compared to 2023 looked good, but once the Final Four hit, silence. Instead, they called it the third highest ever. Looks impressive until you remember the top 2 years were 2023 and 2024, both with Caitlin. In reality, viewership dropped over 10 million.
I just said, we would not be talking about Caitlin Clark the way that we do if it wasn't for that moment with Angel Reese. And I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill.
I was with you until that.
I will die on this hill. I will die on this hill.
When they do mention Clark's fans, the spin continues. Passionate supporters become toxic, racist, or hateful. Media suggested Clark should have picked Angel Reese to control her fan base. Even the Phoenix Mercury threw a subtle dig at her hometown, Indianapolis. Instead of celebrating the player elevating the league, they frame her and her fans as
the new fans are sucking life out of the WNBA right now.
We'll start with you, Kels, because Lord Jesus, your team and their fans,
Jesus,
they be getting up in everybody's business.
I think so many fans, feel they have the freedom to say whatever they want to us, and unfortunately, there's a lot of nasty things that come with it. They don't have people coming to their job saying these nasty things. So, we definitely have to protect the players better.
Ruled out of the All-Star game, pressure soared. Without her, there was no guaranteed ratings spike. Tickets dropped 48% overnight. Could the players carry the event alone, or would the numbers reveal the league's dependence on her?
I can't imagine. Folks, you know how many NBA players can get injured? And the prices would never drop to this low. LeBron James can be injured, Steph Curry could be injured, Kevin Durant could be in, and the prices still will not drop to be this low. $75? Folks, I'm sure there's some high school football teams down in Texas that charge you at least $75 to get to a home game.
Weekend started promising. Skills contests and the three-point challenge even saw a slight bump over 2024. Maybe they could pull it off without Caitlin. But ESPN returned to its old playbook.
Three-point contest. ESPN, ABC, and Disney score the historic viewership for the 2025 WNBA All-Star events. Friday, July 18th, ESPN airs the most watched WNBA skills and three-point contest ever, averaging 1.3 million viewers, which is up 89% versus last year's WNBA skills and three-point contest, up 89%.
This out. All-Star Game ratings compared 2025 to 2023, not 2024. Just lines earlier, they used 2024 for the skills contests, but skipped it for the main event. Why? Last year's game with Caitlyn drew 3.4 M viewers. This year, 2.2 M, a 36% drop. And instead of reporting it, ESPN buried.
All-Star Game ratings from this past weekend was the second most watched WNBA All-Star Game ever behind 2024. No surprise there. The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game was the most watched program of the night across all of TV. The night, not the day. With 2.2 million average viewers, up 158% from the 2023 WNBA All-Star Game.
That's where ESPN's spin exploded. Trying to hide the truth backfired. Fans noticed instantly and called it out everywhere.
This is historic. And they were like, scored historic viewership. How is it historic when it's like half of last year? Last year was nearly 4 million. How is it historic when it's like half of last year?
Truth is, 2.2 M viewers is solid for an All-Star game. But compared to 3.4 M with Caitlyn, the decline is undeniable. Weekend protests, pay demands, and fan events looked bold, but in public perception, it backfired.
Well, Uncle KC, ESPN was comparing this year's All-Star Game to 2023. Why? Why in the hell would they do that? I'll tell you why ESPN did this. This is another example of the mainstream media protecting the WNBA. This is another example of ESPN polishing the turd with this dump of a league.
Then came Kelsey Plum. At the post-game presser, she criticized Caitlyn's team for not joining the protest t-shirt meet.
The WNBA players in their pregame warm-up came out in these t-shirts, "Pay us what you owe us." And then immediately pivoted to playing the worst All-Star game in the history of professional All-Star games. They took the court in t-shirts. "Pay us what you owe us. We're underpaid. This league has lost millions of dollars, but we're underpaid. Pay us what you owe us." And then they served up a doo-doo sandwich to sports fans.
She spoke in Indianapolis, Clark's hometown, after a weekend meant to unite the league. Instead of celebrating the crowd, city, and fans, she targeted the one player giving the platform to make these demands. Later, some laughed it off as a joke, but fans didn't buy it. Even NBA champ Stacey King called it out immediately.
The t-shirt, just United front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very, that really needed to be mentioned.
With a weak on-court product and Kelsey's off-court misstep, the players couldn't afford another blow. A 36% ratings drop should have been devastating. ESPN spun it as a historic event, but owners know the truth. If Caitlyn had played, the game might have exceeded 4 M viewers. Her record games this season, 2.7 M, 2.2 M, 1.7 M, prove it. The All-Star Game didn't just lose 36%, it lost a potential 50%.
Quote, "As you're fighting for better salaries, you're portraying a united front at your biggest event, you still find a way to throw shade at Caitlyn Clark. Why?" Stacey King posted. Quote, "Look at Sabrina's reaction to Plum's comment. It says a lot. Some of these girls are really petty, and someone needs to explain to them it's hurting their league, and it's sad to see." He's not wrong.
Here's the kicker. ESPN didn't need to lie. They could have said, second most watched All-Star Game ever, and Caitlyn Clark didn't play. Acknowledge the effect, thank the fans, embrace the growth. Instead, the league gaslights and subtly attacks the one player driving the surge. Players will get paid, that's certain. But they'd earn more if they embraced the fans behind this growth. The more they fight it, the clearer it becomes. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just real, it's the single biggest reason the WNBA thrives.
Even without Caitlin Clark, it was the second highest rated WNBA All-Star game ever, and that is a huge point of distinction. Two things are clear. If Caitlin Clark plays in the All-Star game, it will set records. But now, because of her popularity, even if she doesn't, it will break records and be the second highest ever. Only beaten by the time she played in it. And that matters.